What's up? What's up, baby? Space talk time. Obviously, we're gonna be reacting to this here playoff game, man. 31-17. Mixed emotions about it, man. I thought we had some good things that happen, some not so good things that happen. So obviously, we're gonna react to it all. So it's one of them things, man. But plenty to discuss, man. Plenty to unpack with this game, man. Whether we talking quarterback play, whether we talking about offensive line situation, linebacker situation, the tackling. Except, man, plenty that we're gonna have to get into, man. And yeah, y'all see this smirk on my face because y'all know what y'all did to me all week, so don't even play. I'm chilling with the attire, but don't play because y'all came at me something reckless this week, man. All right. But yeah, like I said, we definitely gonna talk about this game, man. Because like I said, I do feel like even though we, came up short with this thing, it was a lot that we learned about this team. More so, finishing this season, but also going forward into next season, man. So, like I said, man, we're going to start this thing out, man. Hit that like button one time for the culture. Don't forget to subscribe if you have not done so just yet. And then after that, man, go ahead, drop it in the comment section where you are tuning in from. And that way I can give you the big boy shout out to start today's show. But yeah, y'all was at my neck something serious this week. It was outlandish. Oh my God. And then y'all hit everybody with the soft. Man, I'm staying up out of it. All right. I ain't even doing that. We go unpack this. And then we go handle that later, all right? We unpacking this today, though. You already know. Shout out to Richard R. Bezo tapping in from the 310 Carson, California. He said he left work early for this. We need defensive help in the secondary and inside linebacker energies or not. Yeah, I get it, man. Injuries or not, we definitely appear to be thin. We're going to talk about that. Trust me, we're going to talk about that inside linebacker safety situation, man. And what that means for us this offseason and ultimately preparing for next season as well, man. So we'll definitely get into that. Shout out to John Easton. He says 412 Crafton. Told you to play Kenny. All right, man, we're going to get into all of that. Trust me, baby. We'll get into all of that. David J. Rodriguez. Shout out to David J. being in the building. Says Roanoke, Virginia is where he's tapping in from. Salute you in Roanoke, Virginia, baby. One time for the culture. One time. Official Momentum says Moats. The Bills won. But watch out, Taylor's coming to town. Man, y'all said like it's a bad thing. I like the show. Bring the whole party. The whole party. Just everybody. I want Taylor. I want Brittany Mahomes. Want all of them. Mama Mahomes, Mama Kelsey. We want all of them in the building, man. Absolutely. Put the camera on them with the cool little jackets too. All that, all right? That's how it goes. But yeah, let's get back to business though, man. We ain't, Same way we had the snow and it was like, all right, move the game, bro. Come on. 6 in a row. Just, come on. Anywho, we ain't doing that just yet, man. Like I said, we ain't getting into all that. That's not the energy today. Energy is obviously, man, to unpack everything. Because like I said, man, there was some positive stuff that was happening, man. I thought in that third quarter, early fourth, man, when they got to that 11-point mark, 11-point game, we like, all right, it's getting interesting. So like I said, man, we definitely going to react to a lot of that, man. Quan Summer tapping into 323 Watts, California. See you, baby. Let's see who else in the building today. Leah Warren tapping into 254. Killeen, Texas. One time for the culture, Leah. Always good to have you in the building. You know that. The Funky C-Head or Chad in the 918. Salute you, baby. And Jamie Carlo in the 321. Melbourne, Florida. Always good to have you in the building with me, man. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Double O Curly Top. Most we know you happy. You're daggone right. Because y'all came at me all freaking week and I was chill. I was super mellow. I won't tripping. Even over the weekend with the snow and the postponement, I'm like, bro, how is a postponement now an indictment on a team, a whole city, I'm like, bro, where do we get there? So yeah, I'm extra happy, obviously, baby. But that's not the energy for this right now. Like I said, man, we're going to compartmentalize. I'm going to take that and put that over there. And we here with this part right now, all right? That's how we doing it. Let's see. Ethan Leach. What up, Ethan Leach? Oh, man, I always appreciate you in the building, Ethan. The 417 Shell Knob. Let's get it. And let's see, man. Yeah, Dixon Gaper. Now they hollering about red games. I'm trying to tell you. First it was the snow, then it was they soft, then it was this, that, other thing. It's like, bro, we all watch that same game, man. what we talk about, man. We always that same game. We could minimize what took place and try to put it on a referee situation, but as we saw, calls went both ways, right? It was a game of execution. It was a game of physicality, and more importantly, the little details, man. And that's what we'll get into, man. I do see some more supers coming in, man. I'm definitely gonna get to y'all in a second, man. But like I said, man, we just warming this thing up, all right? We warming it up because it's not often that we get super wild card games on Mondays. Yeah, they were supposed to be played on Sunday at 1, so my whole week is kind of thrown off. But shout out to MLK Day today, all right? Shout out to MLK Day. Rico from the Foe says, Moats, I'm just happy to see you happy. You know what? I appreciate that. It's been a rough, end of the 2023. So I've been needing to stack some dubs wherever I can. So I'm happy that, you know what? One way or the other, I came out of this thing with a dub, all right? It halfway sucks, it's halfway great. And then all the extra we're going to talk about, just kind of the gravy in between, man. But let's get it, man. All right, but no, definitely appreciate y'all pulling up with the super chats, man. Like I said, hit that like button one more time real quick. Started off with the man, Richard R. Bezo. Shout out to you, Richard. Always appreciate you, man. He says, Starbucks on me for your bills. Oh, man, you know what? I will thoroughly enjoy my cinnamon dolce latte. I'm going to get a grande, too. Shout out to the super. I'm going to get a grande just because I'm thinking of you when I do it, too, all right? But I appreciate you, Richard, from the heart. Thank you. He says, so Starbucks on me from your bills or for your bills. But I and probably most of Steelers Nation agree that we do not F with the Bills moving forward. Jesus. How we get there? I didn't think our offensive line was physical enough and we couldn't take care of the ball. There we go. Yeah, so we'll say it a couple ways, man. I could definitely understand the sentiment towards Bills Mafia now, but at the same time, it's cause and effect if you think about it, right? All week, what was the energy from Deke to B? Barking, woofing, right? And over here the whole time, even though the Bills had won 5 of the last 6, and we talked about how Steelers did their last 3 and who the quality was versus what the Bills were doing, it was still yap, right? Everybody was affected by this snow. Everybody was affected by this blizzard, this postponement. But the whole time, what do you see? You see the Steelers side yapping, going crazy at the Bills people, right? They soft, the city, the governor. You like, dang, we all affected. Then it's, man, shoot, they trying to make it so the Bills get better field conditions. It's like, yo, everybody's playing in the same situation, right? So now that the Bills is woofing back, I get it, man. Because all the past 2-3 days, you got everybody in, non-Bills people, non-Buffalo people walking around the city of Buffalo as if that's Orchard Park talking crazy about the Bills people. And you like, bro, y'all ain't even informed the hip. So it was a lot of that, man. So trust me, everything that them Bills people is going to give to Steelers Nation today and going forward, hey, man, you can't act like, your feelings about it now because for a fact, all week, we know the energy from Steelers Nation. All week. Especially this weekend. We know the energy, man. This would come with it, though, baby. But I would agree. I thought the Bills were far and away more physical. And that was the intriguing part because that was a part of the narrative, right? If the game was played in the snow, the Steelers would have the advantage. You heard even when me and Deke were talking about it, though. James Cook, we said he's a Pro Bowler. He didn't become a Pro Bowler just because he can catch the ball. He became a Pro Bowler because he can run that rock, man. That offense lineup there was doing really good. And they have been healthy this season. So when this game happened, I thought that was a big element of it, man. Them dudes being able to win in the trenches. And then the flip side was what? We didn't sustain enough of those drives, man, in terms of winning in the trenches. They did a better job, man, in terms of, what do we say? Can them playing sub-package ball with the number 7, right? Taron Johnson. Him being on the field, can he and that defense in their nickel package stop Najee and Jaylen Warren? And they showed for 4 quarters that they were good enough to do that. And that was even with some of the injuries that they had. So, yeah, that's definitely something that we're going to have to look at with our offensive line. But we know our offensive line was going to be looked at with more of a microscope this offseason anyways. When you just think about how the play has been from this group, right? Even in the game, talking pass protection. At times, Mason, like he had a ton of time, right? Then it was other times, it was like, yo, Mason is under crazy duress. Shout out to Mason, man, extending some of those plays. I thought that he did a good job at times, extending plays, keeping his eyes downfield, and delivering some dope throws, man. Obviously, he had the big one to GP. He had another one, I want to say, to Moof in the game, and then he hit one to DJ as well. Those were all beautiful jobs by Mason extending plays, but as a whole, yeah, the Bills were the far and away more physical team for 4 quarters. And yeah, it was just unfortunate because that's been our staple this little 3-game winning streak that we were on. We were the more physical team typically. So that's something that we're definitely gonna have to address though, man. Absolutely. All right. Shout out to Christian 15213. He says, the refs. That was the worst officiated game I have ever seen in my life. Then he also came back and said, the fake slide, no call. The holding, no call. The PI on GP, no call. The ref tried to call PI when Allen threw out of bounds, but New York had overread it. Hey, man, salute you. You know, I get it, man. When your team loses, this is what you do. You seek comfort. I hope you find that comfort you're seeking. Because we could all say all them calls, but at the same time, what about that fumble that Pat Freiermuth had, where you clearly see the Bills player recovered inbounds, and they simply said, hey, man, call stands. First down Steelers. That would have changed the whole outcome of this game. So we can do the whole referee part if we want to, but at the end of the day, man, they made the plays, we missed the plays, and more importantly, our tackling was atrocious at times. Let's really talk about it, right? The referees, you could make a case all you want about that. We did not tackle worth a day going tonight, man. D-line, linebackers, and safeties. We saw it, but that's not the first time we've talked about that either. We've talked about it. We said, man, with some of the injuries that we've had, certain people that are playing out there are better for coverage parts, but when they're forced to tackle, we're still seeing it's not as comfortable for them. And we saw that on multiple occasions, whether it's run game, whether it was in blitzing, right? Tackling was a big time issue. So we can talk about these referees, Christian, and we can seek as much comfort as we want. But you saw that play where Josh ran 52 yards for a touchdown, right? What did the referees have to do with that? There was no fake slide. Josh was bracing because Josh gets hit. Josh don't get them calls all the time. And I thought the Miles Jack call was actually a good call, because that was actually one of the ones where it was clear. But because of the threat of him running, everybody panics like that. So it happens, man. But the 52-yard touchdown run, that wasn't a fake slide. That's just him powering through arm tackles. We saw a lot of arm tackles today. Khalil Shakir, right? Number 10, caught the little pass in the middle of the field. Whoop, touchdown. Was that referees as well, or was that a missed tackle? It's missed tackling, man. But like I said, we can minimize what took place, and we're going to stay in this rut that we're in where we win a lot regular season, lose in the postseason, and we pissed off, right? Or you actually identify what were the issues, and then from there you try to correct them, whether it's personnel related, whether it's coaching related, or if it's a little bit of both, right? But that's the way you get about it. If you just start hollering about referees, you start hollering about the travel, you start hollering about all this other stuff, man, you're never going to advance in this league. And that's the reality of it, baby. And both teams had injuries. That's the other part too. Everybody was banged up. Both teams come here leaking oil, but you saw, man, they lost another key player on their defense, man, in terms of their linebacker, Terrell Bernard, right? They lost another DB out there as well, man. They was already there. 24, Kyrie Lee hardly even plays up there. So it was like, man, both teams were stressed out, but this is at this stage, it's all about the details and execution. There are guys that were coming off of the bench, made a couple extra plays. That dude 52, AJ Klein, he made additional plays where you think about our inside linebackers that were subbing in. Miles Jack, Mark Robinson and company, right? We saw them kind of get picked on at times. That's the difference, man. Their role players, their backup, their depth guys made a play or two. I thought Landon Roberts made a heck of a play in the end zone, right? On the deep touchdown pass he tried to throw to the tight end, but we didn't have enough of that. That's more of the issue, baby. But like I said, we can point fingers and try to, find that comfort, but we're never going to get better if we take that approach, baby. But I definitely appreciate you being with me tonight, though, baby. Definitely appreciate you. Red says, Moats, please have a show tomorrow with Deke. Oh, trust me, Red, you know I am. 4 o'clock, all right? We in the building. I couldn't wait. We got to talk about this because, it's clearly a lot that we got to unpack with this game. I want to hear his opinion on it as well. And then obviously, how we get to popping on a regular weekday too, man. We just have way more time. But this was one of those ones where, we got a chance to see with our brand of football, the style that we play, we can't have a lot of self-inflicted issues. let's talk about the self-inflicted issues. 0 penalties in the first half. We ended up with 5 in the second half. We're not good enough to have 5 penalties in the half of football versus a team that's the number 2 seed and that has a quarterback that was playing the way that he was playing tonight. Not good enough to do that. We had a red zone turnover in the end zone. Man, we've been hollering about scoring points all season, right? And that's one of the big things that Mason has been doing well for us is what? Protecting the football and scoring points. Bad though. He just missed inside. It happens, right? And we were wondering, when could it potentially be where you look and you're like, oh, did the shoe fall off? I don't feel like that was the case. I know people are going to try to spin it that way. I don't think that was the case. But did he have a bad throw right there? Yes, that was a miss. If you miss inside on breaking routes like that, where you go to the front pylon, that's the no-no. That is what allows that DB to make that play. Just little details. When we talk playoffs, though, when that road narrows, your margin for error is minute. So you really have to be buttoned up at every single play counts, man. Every single play counts. And that was just one of those ones where they made those extra plays. And it wasn't a surprise with some of those players because, yeah, it's like, yo, you know Josh Allen's going to do certain things. You know they're going to have certain players to make certain plays. But I thought for us, some of our big-time players or bigger name players, specifically on defense, I thought we didn't have the best, performance at times. I thought that we kind of had our mistakes be highlighted where I thought for those guys, for the Bills, man, they're big, like their A players didn't really have the back-breaking issues. We didn't get the Josh Allen turnover that typically happens, right? Whereas on our side, we saw our star player miss a tackle that ended up in a touchdown. That type of stuff is the difference in these type of games, man. The Funky Chad, shout out to you, baby. He says, the L isn't on number 2. Mason played well considering. And I would agree with you, man. Now, granted, everybody has a hand in it. When you're the quarterback, your team loses, we obviously look at you when 17 points are scored. Yeah, we look at you. And rightfully so. But at the same time, it was not exclusively on him. I thought that he played well. I thought that he did some good things out there. I thought that at times he showed the ability to give you a little bit more juice. But at the end of the day, we just did not execute enough. I thought that, when we had some opportunities, we didn't, like situationally on third downs, we weren't good enough. That turnover in the end zone, man, we can't have that. Man, that's a touchdown. It's a totally different ball game, right? You talk about the pressure that the Bills feel having to go back and forth. We said Josh has turned the ball over a lot, leads the league in turnovers, leads the league in touchdowns. So he was going to score a ton, but he also would give you a chance with that football. It just never got to that point where it was going to feel like he had to press. And when that happens and he's able to play like that, yeah, we're going to struggle. And Josh versus Mason in a shootout, that's not Mason's game. That's Josh's game. And I thought we saw that also tonight. But I do feel like Mason has earned the right to come back and compete, though. Like, that's how I felt about it watching him. I was like, you know what, man? You've shown enough in this game. The crazy start, you rode through that adversity, kept this team in it, made it interesting at the end of the game also. That was why for me, I'm like, bro, I'm not tripping on that. Like, we can make this case. Can he finish his games better? Great. But would we have even been in a position to come back if Kenny is out there? Because Kenny has historically shown that he struggles for 3 quarters and gives you a final quarter really well. Whereas for Mason, these past couple of games have shown that he can put it together for 4 quarters, or at least for multiple quarters. And I thought today he still did that, even though the game wasn't flowing the way that we wanted it to flow. So that was my whole thought process back and forth about, man, would this game have played out differently if it was Kenny versus Mason? Not to mention that I hadn't seen Kenny in a whole month. But to me as a whole, I'm glad that we stuck with Mason in this game, man. I'm glad that he had a chance to really show some stuff, because now, like I said, I do feel like he deserves the opportunity to come back here and realistically compete, man. But we shall see if the team also feels that way. Y'all hit that like button one time, though, man. If y'all enjoying the space talk, obviously we're reacting to a not so, positive performance, man. Season coming to an end, 31-17. Buffalo Bills getting the win in the Super Wildcard round. All right. Shout out to Let's Go UW. He says, longest playoff win drought since Chuck Noll was hired. Longest drought in over 50 years. Something needs to give ASAP. Hey, I'm glad you brought all that up. I hope Coach Tomlin retires and y'all can get all the change y'all want. I promise you I do. That's what I was thinking, man. When that thing ended, I'm like, yep, they're going to bring up all this playoff, all this other stuff. And yeah, you know what? Hit it on them, Coach T. Hit it on them. They don't deserve you no way. Hit it on them. So I'm with you. Let's go, UW. I hope we do get some change. All right? I hope everybody gets that change they seeking. That's what I'm hoping. Shout out to Christian. Christian also says, Moats. Oh, Christian 15213. And I appreciate you being here tonight too, man, from the heart. Because this is the fun part, man. When we just get a chance to really, just spitball, perspectives and thoughts and things like that. And obviously, the different experiences really makes this like a dope dynamic. So I do appreciate you, Christian, from the heart. It says, Moats, please explain what you do on offense and what you don't want to see on offense when the D is playing dime up close to the line. Daring the O to throw, but OC not calling shots. Why? Oh my God, why? Christian, you're 100% right. So for me, that was the part that I was trying to see how that was going to play out. The Bills with Sean McDermott blitz a lot, but at the same time, they can simulate, which is what they did on the one call where it looks like it was going to be a zero blitz. You see Mason get confused and kind of throw it out of bounds, right? Kind of double hitch, throw it to the right. The Bills do a lot of that. So even though they were playing dime, typically if a team is playing dime and everybody's up to the line of scrimmage, yeah, man, we got one-on-ones on the outside. That means I got GP, I got DJ one-on-one, go cook, go get off, let's go. Right? But at the same time, I do feel like we called it a conservative a little bit, man. We did not test their DBs like we should have. And I'm telling you for a fact, as an alumni of them, as a dude that follows their team, bro, they was banged up in the secondary. That when Rasul Douglas got hurt in that Dolphins game and they said he was out this week, that's what brought 24 Kyer Elam on the field. And everybody that's a Bills fan started panicking because he typically struggles, man. He's very inconsistent, even though he's very talented athletically. And we know from cornerbacks here, man, dudes can have a ton of talent, but if the production isn't there, it doesn't matter. So, yeah, I was really disappointed in that avenue about us not, challenging those dudes. But at the same time, I kind of understood why. I just didn't like the fact that we took that approach now. It felt as if these past 3 games we have been playing aggressive and playing to win. We're not playing not to make a mistake, not to lose. I thought today at times offensively we played to not make a mistake. It was like, man, let's be a little bit more safe here with the football. Call this run, call this quick play right here, and let's just get up out this thing and let's try to just keep snapping the football. That's fine if Josh Allen is turning it over. But when he's not turning it over and you're seeing them kind of move that ball the way that they were, you don't have that luxury anymore. And then, when the game starts out how it does, where, yeah, we get behind early, you really have to, play that fine game of how conservative or how much I want to trust this running game versus how much do I want to take a chance with Mason and see, man, can George Pickens take advantage of these DBs? Can Deontay Johnson, because it was a point y'all saw, they could not guard Deontay. They couldn't. They still can't guard him. But we didn't take enough chances or enough throws to him. And that was, like I said, one of the things where you're just kind of frustrated. But at the same time, you think about our pass protection. We got hit off for a sack early. They were able to create some pressure, not crazy, but enough of it. And that all goes into these type of games when man, there is no tomorrow. And you have to decide, would you rather it be the slow, let's try to play this thing out as long as we do it? Or do you want the quick death where it's like, all right, Mason, get after this thing. They challenge us, let's challenge them back. But now you throw a pick or two early on, and now it's really out of control. That's all of the decision making and all the thought process that kind of goes into it. But Christian, I am with you. I would have loved to see them take more chances in terms of testing their DBs because they were down to the 5th, 6th DB, the 4th, 5th inside linebacker. It's like, bro, come on, man. We can attack them the same way they're attacking our backups. Let's attack their backups the same way. But unfortunately, we ain't do that. And we don't get it tomorrow. We got to wait till next year to, get a chance to revisit this situation. But, yeah, I definitely with you on that, Christian, though. Shout out to you, man. Official momentum. Rough day at the office and Steelers lost. Man, I'm sorry about that rough day at the office. And, yeah, that Steelers lost. It sucks partially for the boy. You know how I feel about it, man. Double alumni status, and y'all came at me. You came at me too a little bit official. Y'all came at me hard this week, but I kept professional. All right, I'm gonna keep it professional today. All right, I ain't even got the Bills girl. You see, I chilled out. I just threw, a little push of tea. I was chilling. All right, stole me out. Let's go. Shout out to Mike Hood though. Mike Hood says, first loss sucks. Second, still a good season. Third, welcome to the offseason. Hats off to the team and Coach T. Stay positive. Let's get some draft. Man, I'm with you, Mike. In terms of the loss, yeah, it definitely sucks because the season ends, right? And there is no we get a chance to rectify. We don't get a chance to see, okay, how does Mason respond to his first loss of this year of him being the starter? Or how does Kenny potentially respond to now this dynamic potentially changing? Like, there were a lot of questions, man, that, unfortunately we're not going to get a chance to see get answered, man. But in terms of still a good season, 100%, man. You know what the heck we've been through. You know the quarterback situation, this coordinator situation, the team health situation as well. For this to turn into a 10-win team where you still got a chance to go into the postseason, and like I said, the game was competitive at times. Bills people won't just thinking this game was over when it was an 11-point game in that third, fourth quarter. Absolutely not. So, yeah, man, tip our cap to them dudes for that, man. And that's with Mason going up against Josh Allen. We know that, right? And then from there, man, welcome to the offseason. Yeah, here we are. So, obviously, you know how this thing goes, man. React to it, sit on the tuner for a little bit, see how we feel about the internal players that we got, coaches and stuff like that. Then from there, start to compile that list, right? Who helps you get better? Who doesn't help you get better? Who do you want to retain? Who don't you want to retain? And then after that, your free agency wish list, and it's draft time, baby. So, yeah, we are here. We are here. All right. Where you at? Shout out to That's Beyond. Shout out to That's Beyond, man. I appreciate all y'all being here tonight, too, man. Like I said, man, it definitely sucks that we didn't get the dub. But at the same time, man, I do feel like it was a dope season. When you really sit back and think about everything that had to take place for us to get to where we are, for us to even have this opportunity to be doing this today, man. A lot had to go right for us, man. A lot of adversity had to be overcome. So let's not lose sight of that just because in this moment we're taking an L. All right. But That's Beyond says, hey, Moats, a lot of uncertainty moving forward. What are they going to do at quarterback and head coach? Also, no playoff win since you were on the team. Come back? ? First off, absolutely not. I am completely, utterly washed. All right. I just love to work out and look good in my house. That's it. I have no parts of that out there, but I'm cheering them on. You know me, man. I do my part like that. And here, I'm a man of the people. All right. This is my job. Okay. But, turns to no playoff win since I was on the team. That is very real. And that is something that Coach Simon has to answer to. Regardless of how I feel about him personally and the support that I get for him, that is very much a stain on his jacket right now, man. And yeah, I thought today, it was going to give him an opportunity, but yeah, it was going to be a heck of an uphill climb when they drew that Bills team versus that Dolphins team. And that's the reality of it, man. But yeah, that's the cold conversation now, right? Granted, I'm sure people want him to be gone. So cool, man. If he wants to be gone, hopefully you get that, right? There's a chance that he might retire, step away. I'm all for that personally. I hate that it has to come out of like a spiteful feeling, but at the same time, it's like, man, the amount of just unappreciation towards what he's been able to accomplish, not just throughout his tenure here, but even this season. That's the part where it's just like, all right, if you truly feel like there is, greener grass on the other side of that fence, I encourage you to go find it. And if that has to be by Coach Tomlin saying, man, I'm going to holler at y'all and retire on them and take some time off, so be it. I think it's personally going to suck like a major way, but this is what it has to be sometimes for people to truly understand and appreciate what they have. It's an unfortunate part, man. I just been, around multiple places where you see that in real life versus here where it's more so just a concept or almost like a fun idea. When you really have lived it, you don't want no parts of that life. When, you never experienced it, it's kind of enticing. You're like, oh, what is that like? Maybe we could do that too. That could work. And it's like, bro, it's a reason why you don't see them Eagles doing pigeon type stuff, right? Just difference, man. But if you want to do that type of stuff, we can try that. But it's the reason why the pigeons ain't up there with them Eagles too, man. So you just got to understand that we don't operate the same way as everybody else. But if we have the mindset like that, it's very easy to come down here and be like all these other people, man. And that's the part that I feel like we kind of playing with fire with, but we shall see. We shall see. Christian Manzi says, that was a fake slide, Moats. Look at the play. Minka held up. Look at that again, please, Moats. Google, look at USA Today. Fake slide video. Man, y'all call it what you want to call it. What the referee do? Did they throw a flag? No. I looked at the replay. It looked like a touchdown to me. So that's that, man. You can look at it how you want to look at it. At the end of the day, Josh Allen never dropped like he was going to slide. So that's that, man. I don't know what to tell you. All right. But I get it, baby. You passionate about it. So you know what? You could be right. Everybody in terms of the referees and everybody else be wrong. And that's fine too. That ain't the first time either. You know that. But at the same time, it's like, bro, what are we talking about, man? Yeah. They ain't throw the flag. He should have hit him. Period. Like, he's slowing up because he's about to get hit by a group of people. And then when they slow up, he's like, all right, well, I'm just going to keep going. If y'all want to make that about the ref, y'all want to make that a fake slide, go for it, baby. Go for it. All right, Richard R. Bezo says, Coach T deserves his job back. We lost because of play 100%. Yeah, at the same time, Coach T still is the head of the ship. So regardless of how much we want to minimize his role in terms of the dudes on field, he is still ultimately the leader of it. And that's the part that, yeah, from accountability standpoint, he'll be the first one to tell you, if the dudes aren't playing well, that's a him problem, not a they problem, because that's the type of man that he is. But at the same time, yeah, we could look and tell at certain parts of the game where it's like, yo, we are very thin here. That's the only reason why this guy is even in this position to guard this guy right here. And you got to live with it. But there are no excuses either, right? When we're talking about the results business of winning, and that's professional football, those things come off as excuses versus legitimate, reasons for his lack of success. So, like I said, that's going to be heavily discussed with him. I don't think the Rooneys are in a hurry, though, to move on from him. I'm just throwing it out there because I think that they truly understand what they have when you look globally around this league and you really start talking this comparing and contrast and Super Bowl contenders and stuff like that. I'm like, what is the difference outside of quarterback play? What is the difference? Right? That's how I look at it. But not everybody feels the same. And we have to understand everybody has different opinions, and you got to respect them opinions, even if you don't always agree with them, all right? So let's see. Yo Young, he says, we have beef now, Moats. Don't beef me, man. I don't want no beef. Now, y'all know, if we was going to beef, I could have came in here and just be dunking all week. I don't want to dunk. I'm just trying to chill, man, because I'm sad and happy. Like I said, when you got both sides, it be like that, baby. But, it is what it is, man. It is what it is. But that was also why, you heard from me on the front end. I won't do a lot of woofing because I already know, man, this how it go. I already figured, man, it's going to end bad for one of my babies. All right. And I ain't want to do that to either one of them. All right. I felt like I said, it was sad. It's like, dang, it's one of my mans. I love them both. I got to do them both like that. All right. But here we are. So no, Yo Young, I'm not beefing. No beef. You can have beef. I'm not beefing back. There we go. AJ Martinez. Shout out to AJ Martinez, too. Always in the build. He says, long live the king. Number 2. Mason can shoot out. Now, I'm with you, man. Shout out to Mason, bro. I like Mason's energy, man. Like I said, I am all for him coming back this offseason. Now, in terms of price point, that is the interesting part. Because he unrestricted. Yeah. So, in order for him to come back, we're going to have to find a number that is appropriate, that he likes and that we like. So that's going to definitely be something that we're going to have to, discuss and react to, as this offseason goes, man. But, yeah, that's going to be unique. We got a couple personnel decisions, though, man, whether you're talking Mason, whether, the whole Mitch Trubisky situation, do you keep him, bring him back, or is he gone? Defensively, Patrick Peterson, Cam Hayward, let me think who else. I got to check Levi. I think he might either have 1 year left on his, you know what I mean? So it's like I said, it's going to be some decisions that have to get made, on that side of the ball. Obviously inside linebacker as well, man, with just the health, the contract situations with some of those guys. So yeah, man, we got a lot of decisions that are gonna get made, man. But nah, shout out to Mason though, baby. Shout out to Mason. All right. C-Dez says, or C-Dez86 says, Broderick was tripping this game. Yeah. He didn't have his best performance. Man, I will say this. We talked about just first rounder on first rounder, talent on talent, young talent on young talent. Gregory Rousseau is a young, highly talented player for the Bills, right? Former first round pick, long, lengthy guy. Gets a lot of sacks, but at the same time, he's a dude that's still trying to find his way. When we talked about him before, I said, man, he's kind of like Alex Highsmith last year or the year before he got the 14 sacks, where he kind of was like that 7-8 sack guy. You know he's a good player, but you don't know how good he is. That was that. But I thought today, man, he played a really good game against Broderick. I thought Von Miller also came and had some success against Broderick. It's one of them things, man. Broderick will, take this first playoff experience on the chin and learn from it. He'll see that, man, there is a different tempo. There's a different, speed that comes with the postseason compared to the regular season. And for the dudes that have never done it, it's a shocker at times. I think for him at times, he kind of got surprised, man. But like I said, you live and you learn, man. It'll also be interesting to see, what takes place this offseason with the offensive line in terms of if he's even staying at right tackle or does something happen where he ends up at left tackle, which is where we initially drafted him to be. So, like I said, man, we definitely going to find a lot of, like I said, we're going to get some good information, man, with how they handle those dudes, man. But, yeah, Broderick definitely didn't have his best performance. Then CDAS86 also says, Coach T is one of the more competent coaches left in the league. I don't want to lose that. Trust me, I feel that way 100%. I know exactly what we have, and I know exactly what a lot of teams don't have. I'm not trying to be like the ones that don't got it when I already know what I do have and what it is proven, and it's shown that it can evolve and can get the most out of every single player on this daggone roster, right? Even the dudes that everybody forgot about and wrote off multiple times, he found a way to have everybody singing Rudolph with your nose so bright, right? So trust me, man, I know exactly what we got in him, but at the same time, playoffs matter, right? And playoffs are weighted heavily or more heavily than regular season. Now, to what degree? That's what we got to find out. Yeah. Because we could talk all postseason success we want to, but if you don't get a chance to get there because your lack of regular season success, does it really matter? And that's, part of, I'm sure, the conversation with Bill Belichick, right? Up in New England before he got gone. We know he could win in the postseason. He's won a lot in the postseason. But these past couple of years, he's been struggling to even get to that postseason. And it was to the point where you're like, man, all right, this ain't going to work no more. The flip side, you look at Dallas with Mike McCarthy. They won a ton in the regular season these past 3 years, but they struggled mightily in the postseason with far more talent as well, man, when you're talking about recently versus what the Steelers have had recently. But their whole dilemma is, all right, do we risk giving up these, 12 plus wins back-to-back seasons for, a potential to go further in this postseason? Or do you stick with this and hope that, hey, man, McCarthy can get this group to finish better and now they can go on a run? Multiple teams are having them convos, though, man. Trust me on that. And it's a legitimate decision because one wrong move will have you turning into the Carolina Panthers, will have you be in the Cleveland Browns, pre-Stefanski, and a lot of other teams out here where you're like, bro, they just keep going on the coaching carousel. Talent comes in here, but, man, don't nothing work. That's what we're trying to avoid here. And typically the Pittsburgh Steelers have done a great job of not falling into that trap. So hopefully they will continue. But we shall see, baby. We shall definitely see. AJ Martinez says, Mason anywhere but our offense. NFL MVP. 2 handcuffed in Steelers offense. We came out scared to run on first down. Or you came out scared, run on first down. Screen pass. Stretch the field. AJ Martinez, trust me, I'm with you on that. I thought we did play conservative at times offensively. I thought the approach today was let's not make the mistake. And it was as if they were going to wait to see if the Bills were going to make the mistake. And tonight, they weren't making that mistake. That's one of the ones, man. I was definitely with you on that, man. I would have liked to have seen us be a lot more aggressive when they're giving us that single high, one-on-one single coverage outside, man. I want to see us take a shot at that. I want to see us challenge those dudes, man, but we never really did. And that's, like I said, the unfortunate part. But Mason, I thought, man, he showed a lot of those qualities that you look for, man. QB1, a lot of them qualities, man, he was showing them, and he continued to show them throughout this run. So, like I said, that's why for me, I'm all on board with bringing them back, man. Sequoia Harris, he says, I rock with you, OG. You happy, got me right now. Or hold on. He says, I rock with you, OG. You too happy, got me right now, man. Real talk. Mason did well. Our defense played soft. Pass rush didn't get it done, and the run game was off. Harvin has to go, man. The game was 100% winnable. Offensive line wasn't it. Shout out to you, Sequoia. Shout out to you, man. We agree on a lot of stuff, man. A lot of the stuff. I thought our pass rush left a lot more to be desired. Highsmith obviously had some success. Marcus Golden had some success. But as a whole, Josh didn't look like he was really under duress. Outside of us blitzing the one time when Pat P came free, it wasn't a lot of times where Josh was under pressure, man. That was very discouraging because I definitely thought that was going to be one of our places to have an advantage. Our D-line, interior and outside linebacker pass rush versus this Bills offensive line. And yeah, it just never really materialized. We had a couple of plays, but other than that, it wasn't this, situation that I thought it would be just based on what we've been doing production-wise with Herbig, Golden, and Highsmith. Granted, we knew no TJ, but that wasn't the first time we played without TJ. But yeah, it definitely showed up a lot more today, man. And yeah, that's something that we got to be better at, man. And in terms of Harvin, wasn't this? It's just tough, man. You watch another cat with a day going hammy, he booming him. But Sam Martin's a dope punter. He's been dope all season. All right. But yeah, that definitely, you could see the difference in a game like today where you're facing Sam Martin's an elite punter. We're not even going to pull punches with that. One guy was an elite punter. One guy is a good punter. It showed. That definitely showed. I do agree with you, man. And yeah, that's something that we definitely gonna look into. But obviously, the Steelers have already been looking into that. They brought in Brad Wing multiple times this year. They didn't do that because Presley has been hurt multiple times. They're doing it because they need to see more. And when you don't close that door, this is what happens. So don't be surprised if, they don't aggressively look, or just with a little bit more urgency, look to bring in either competition or somebody that they think could potentially be a clear-cut upgrade over Presley, man. But when you open the door, no different than the Kenny Pickett conversation, right? When your play opens that door, this is what you got to deal with in the offseason. And unfortunately for Presley, this was his last game of this season. So he got to stand on this performance. And this is what the Steelers are going to be thinking about all offseason, man. So yeah, I get it, man. I definitely get it. And y'all hit that like button real quick, man, if y'all new and you ain't hit it just yet. All right. And if you have not subscribed to the channel, what are you waiting on? Hit the subscribe button, man. We do this. We talk shop, have fun, party it up. Podcasts on weekdays, film sessions, all type of stuff, man. Cool. All right. Man, I'm just laughing. Y'all comments is funny, man. Not funny, but like, some of them are funny, man. Not in a negative way, but like in a funny way. But I ain't gonna read them all because I don't want to get in trouble. I ain't staying away from some of that stuff. But anywho, AJ Martinez says, Mason, go to a team that lets you throw the ball. Now, think about it. Up until tonight, we were throwing it a lot more. Now, I do wonder if the elements potentially played a factor in it as well. Obviously, the broadcast, I think they were saying that it was still windy there. We know it was super cold. Just being in that stadium multiple times, it is a wind tunnel. So that could have also been at play in terms of why they didn't throw it as much. But I still feel like it was just it's a little bit too conservative for my liking, man. A little too conservative. Official momentum. He says Moats with the prayer emojis. Steelers bouncer back tour 2024-2025. You know it's bounce back tour, baby. Why not? Why not? But we gotta see, who's a part of the group. Is it the original members, or are we gonna have like new members? I don't know. Who the front man of the band? Who the leader of the band? Right? We got a lot that we're gonna be finding out, man, these next couple months, man. All right. So it's gonna be an interesting offseason. It's gonna definitely be an interesting offseason. Shout out to Angel Rosales as well, man, being in the building with me tonight, man. Definitely appreciate you. He says scored 14 off turnovers. The difference in the game, 100%. What did we say? We are not the caliber of team that can give the ball away and still win. And when you're playing a team like the Bills, who tonight they weren't turning the ball over and they're scoring points, yeah, you're giving away possessions. And when you give away a possession, now you see how the game starts to separate, right? And that was one of those things. Who takes the ball first? Okay, that matters because that's a possession that you're trying to steal, right? Who can get that last score before the half? That matters. That's when we blocked that field goal, man. That was a big thing. And then for us to come down there and get some points, like, yo, that matters. That's huge. But like I said, it's one of them things where when you don't capitalize enough and you turn the ball over in the red zone and then they come back and score after that, that's a big time swing, man. That's big time. And it's hard to win on the road, specifically in the playoffs versus good teams when you do that, man. Let's go, UW. In the building, he says, it's not about what he's done in the past. The NFL is a business of what have you done for me lately. And Tomlin hasn't won when it's mattered the most. Well, technically, that's both right and wrong. He did win when it mattered the most. Otherwise, we're not even in the playoffs. Remember that. We can't let the moment overshadow what took place this season. I know you want to specifically talk postseason this year, but to tell the story of postseason this year, you have to take this thing back to 4 or 5 weeks ago as well. So we can't act like this is the only time that he had a chance to be successful this season and a guy to have a game and did not come up. Because we don't get here if he doesn't do it not once, not twice, but 3 times in a row with a very motley crew on offense and defense. So if we're going to criticize him, let's make sure that the critique matches the praise as well, man. Because both things would definitely, if we're going to act like this was, oh God, so, terrible, right, versus the 2 Buffalo Bills and all that other stuff, that was this, they 6-1 in a row. We're going to act like this was that terrible. Well, let's make sure you act like this is just as dope as well, because it was a time where this wasn't even a conversation. All right. But I do like your energy, though. You know that. But like I said, just make it make sense, man. Official momentum. Says Ambition the Kid and Radio Tokyo live shows January 20th, 2024 at Frankie I's Bar and Grill, 8 p.m. Craft House Bar and Grill, February 2nd, 2024, 8 p.m. And he's at Rivers Casino, February 23rd at 8 p.m. And it's hashtag free, so make sure y'all tap in as well. Salute your official momentum, baby. Love that. Elijah West says, we can't keep playing this defense to miss games. Hold on. We can't keep paying this defense to miss games. Now that is interesting. I mean, how you not going? I mean, like, let's see who are we paying that wasn't available? You got TJ, but we ain't tripping on TJ. Everybody else kind of banged up. All right. Cole Holcomb, we had Ben, lost him. Quan Alexander. E-Rod was available. That was good. But, like I said, at this stage of the season, man, injuries are going to happen, man. Both teams were dealing with major injuries to defensive players, man. That happens. I just thought as a whole, the dudes that stepped up for us, they had moments to make plays. And a lot of them plays where they didn't make the play resulted in a touchdown. Whereas the flip side was the Bills, the players for them that had to come in and, step up and play expanded roles tonight, they did make those plays. They didn't, give up the explosive. And that's the difference, man. When you're getting to this stage, man, and dudes keep getting hurt, and you're like, man, all right, we thin on defense, they thin on defense. Who is going to step up and make a play? And that's the part, like I said, that was the part for me that was a little bit unfortunate, man, when you're looking at some of the people that were missing some of these plays. You're like, bro, you're the guys that we are depending on with some of these injuries going on to make us right, to calm it. And unfortunately, they were kind of, the ones that did have a handful of bad plays here or there that allowed explosive plays, whether we're talking the Josh Allen touchdown run, whether we're talking the Khalil Shakir touchdown catch, whether we're talking the Dawson Knox? No, that was Dalton Kincaid. The Dalton Kincaid touchdown. It's like multiple situations we could point to where it was like, yo, we had the dude right. And it's like, yo, they made the play. We did not make the play. Now, we can find whatever, excuse we want to make for that. But at the end of the day, that's kind of what it boiled down to, man. Their dudes made them plays. We did not. And theirs resulted in touchdowns, unfortunately, man. Elijah West also says, no play Mason made that Justin Fields can't. Yeah, I mean, but we talking about a first round, top 10 talent versus Mason Rudolph, who was a 3rd round draft pick, man. So yeah, we're not tripping on that, but we also have to understand what are you willing to give up to go get Justin Fields? Because if we're saying that Justin Fields and Mason Rudolph were making plays that were equal to each other today, why would we give up as much as it's going to cost to go get a Justin Fields when we felt that Mason was doing the same or making the same type of plays that Justin Fields could make? That's my only thing with it, man. Like I said, Justin Fields is very intriguing, man. Athletic, he's very talented. I think he's very inconsistent technique-wise, though. And that's part of the reason why his play has been so up and down throughout his tenure in Chicago. We're going to talk him a lot this offseason, I'm sure, and plenty of other quarterbacks, man. But that's the conversation. When we're talking about some of these other dudes, can you guarantee that it's going to give you that upgrade? And is it worth what you're going to have to give up to go get him? Those are all the things we're going to have to factor in, man. AJ Martinez says, Bills destroy Kansas City. Ravens destroy Bills. We own Ravens. Make it make sense. If the Ravens win the Super Bowl and we 7-1 versus them, why are we not Super Bowl champs? Man, you made my hair hurt, AJ, but I get it. That's fan math, man. It's literally week to week, man. Bills and Chiefs play each other really well. I think Bills and Ravens will play each other really well. I don't think that, any of these teams had these crazy advantages. I know us in Pittsburgh, we like to say that we got Lamar's number and all this other stuff, but I don't necessarily 100% agree with that. But that's one of the ones where it's just like every team, man, it's one game at a time. You play these games with all the marbles on the line, AFC Championship or playoffs, then I think it's a different convo. But, right now, man, all those teams that you just named are good. And they all have different styles of play. Lamar, we talk about his style at quarterback, even though he's a dual threat, is very different than Josh Allen at quarterback, who's also a dual threat. But those two quarterbacks are drastically different than Patrick Mahomes. And all three of them dudes are different than Mason Rudolph or Kenny Pickett, right? So I think, man, all of those things play into it. And when you're talking about just a matchup week to week, injuries, personnel, like all of that kind of plays into it. But the reason why those other teams I think have had more success is just they all three have what we consider top 5 quarterbacks. So when you have a top 5 quarterback on your roster, you're going to always have a better chance to advance. And we say when you don't have a top 5 quarterback, which we've kind of been experiencing since Ben has been gone, you have to do all the other things to kind of win in between. So versus a team like Baltimore, where we capitalize on their turnovers at times, yeah, we're able to have some success. Typically for Baltimore, they're really good at getting out in front of you, and now with their style of offense, minimize your possessions, and now they can really take advantage of them running the ball and making defense play certain coverages, and now Lamar can take advantage of it passing. That doesn't always work though when you're playing against a different defense than the Pittsburgh Steelers. So that's part of why we have success against them, but we struggle against other teams that, just have a different style of offense. But that's what we say is the matchups, man. So I get the math. I wanted to work as simple as that, but I'm sure it's a team out there that'll be looking at us like, well, shoot, man, we beat the Steelers on occasion this many times, so why don't we have this many Super Bowls either? It's just how it goes sometimes, baby. You know that, AJ. But salute you, though, for being in the building with me, man. Elijah West says Mason Cole, again, was horrible this game. Now, I know we would love to just simply call him horrible because at times his snapping hasn't been up to par. And yeah, he's had some plays where he hasn't been the best. I will say this, man. I thought that, he was going to have a bad matchup today. I told you about Ed Oliver. Ed Oliver is their all-world young interior defensive tackle, Pro Bowl, all-pro type. He's the type of guy, man, that when we think of how Cam Hayward, Stephon Tuitt were a couple of years ago, that's what they feel like they have in Ed Oliver. He just got paid this offseason. So, yeah, that was going to be one of the matchups, man, where we were going to have our hands full. Unfortunately, Mason didn't do a good job of handling that. In terms of Mason Cole, Isaac Seumalo, James Daniel, as a group, they didn't do a good job of handling him or that interior pressure. And like I said, part of that, as a dude that knows that team, I kind of expected that. But at the same time, for us, we would have liked to see just a little bit better performance from Mason Cole specifically versus a dude like Ed Oliver and that interior D lineman that, they were throwing out at us. So, yeah, but trust me, he's another one of those guys that we're going to be evaluating, and it's going to be a conversation around him, right? Replace him or not. And if you replace him, how are you going about replacing him? Because if you're going to replace him, you want it to be an upgrade. Well, to get an upgrade, you're going to have to spend. or draft a little bit higher because he's not a run-of-the-mill bare rookie minimum type contract dude either. So those are all the decisions that kind of come to play or kind of come to the forefront when you are making a decision on a guy like Mason Cole improving and things like that with some of these other moves that we're going to have to be making as well, man. So that's the only part where I'm like, as much as we love to just, let's move on for this guy, move from that guy, it is a salary cap. So we do got to be a little bit more cognizant of that. But the beautiful thing is we still don't have a quarterback that is making the big time money just yet. So we do have a lot more, play room with that. Christian 15213 in the baby, you rocking with me tonight, and I'm rocking back with you. I'm telling you, man, I'm loving this conversation, this dialogue that we are having today, baby, and I hope y'all are enjoying it as well. Still man fan 1111. Don't do the Bills like that, baby. The Bills showed hospitality. Remember, they cleared out all the snow. They made sure that the Steelers and all the fans could safely get in and safely exit. All right. Don't be upset with the Bills, baby. All right. It was all love. It was all love. Kumbaya. Team AFC, baby. All right. Like I said. All right. Christian 15213 says the entire sub coaching staff has to go. Yes or no? The entire sub coaching staff. I'm not completely sure what you mean by the entire sub coaching staff, but just in terms of the coaching staff, I will say this: offensively, since Mike Sullivan and Eddie Faulkner have taken over, I probably would say this is the one game that I still thought that they did good. I just thought that they were conservative, and that was part of like my whole dilemma with everything that they've done. It's just like, man, y'all have been doing a great job since y'all have taken over from Matt Canada, being aggressive, attacking the middle of the field, running the ball, and ultimately getting Mason some play action pass situation where he can, throw, show the big arm and stuff like that. Or even some of the slant stuff when you get single high, whether it's cover 3 or cover 1, and allowing Mason to put it in a tight window and seeing if GP or Deontay Johnson can make a guy miss and score. We just never really did that. And that was the frustrating part because defensively, if this was 3 weeks ago, okay, cool. This is the approach because that Bills defense, man, when they're healthy, they're one of the best in the league. But that ain't the same defense right now. This defense right now is more so, I think at times overachieving. But they also have really smart players out there at the safety position in the D-line. And that kind of helped them out. But, yeah, I would have liked to have seen, us challenge them a little bit more, man. But that's the hindsight 2020 part. I'm sure Eddie Faulkner and Mike Sullivan are going to go home tonight and be like, you know what? Yeah, we could have been more aggressive. Yeah, we probably should have took a little bit more chances here. But that's the postseason. You don't get a do-over. Once it's over, we're all sitting here now. We got to wait till next season and hope for the best, right? That's the reality of it, man. But that's what makes the playoffs, and that's why we love it so much and we clamor for it and want to be in it so much. And that's why you hear me when people was like, yo, we don't want to go to the playoffs. I'm like, how do you not want to be in this environment where you feel all this emotion, all of this energy, watching these games when we the only team that's playing at that time, man? Ain't nobody else to be watched. It's like, that's what you want. That's what you live for. But you can't get there without the regular season. And obviously, we did do that part. But this is what you want, man. That experience for them dudes right there is invaluable, man. But we got to see, can they build upon it going forward? All right. That's what we shall see. Yul Young says, got to get Broderick counterpart at Georgia. Yeah, I heard they got a nice little cat down there, man. Georgia stay with some dudes, though, man. I heard they got the center. I think that's his name, right? I got to look up his name. But, yes, the center is supposed to be nice. Know the tight end nice down there, man. And they stay with some cats on defense, too, baby. So, we shall see, man. Unfortunately, it is off-season time, man. But let me digest this before we start talking draft. All right, let me digest this one. We'll get to that draft later. But I like your energy, though. Jason M says, Pat P is more washed than you, Moats. Don't do Pat like that. Dang, go, man. My dog say he more washed than me. Yo, that's bad. Yeah, because I'm washed. I'm telling you now. I'm like, I wear old man retired slippers in the house washed. You feel me? Like, I put my jammies on and walk around the house and eat like Frosted Flakes in the morning washed. Like, that's actually I'm Fruit Loops. Definitely Fruit Loops, all right? But that's how washed I am, okay? So, yeah, I hope he ain't that washed. I'm over here like, yo, should I get soaked PJs or should I go with like the 100% cotton and flannel? Like, yeah, all right, that's how washed I am. So Pat P can't be that washed. But he says he needs to call Carnell Lake if he wants to extend his career. And I do agree with you on this, man. In all seriousness, man, when Pat P is at cornerback, he looks older. He looks slow. We saw that today. Prime example. Deontay Hardy catches the little comeback route, right? And literally, Pat P is within 2 yards of him. He doesn't lay a hand on him, and my man takes it for an explosive play. That would have never happened to Pat P a couple of seasons ago, man. But at this stage in his career, he is slowing down. So that was why when he made the transition to safety, we loved it, because now speed-wise, he's still elite speed for safety. But the big question, or the challenge for him specifically at safety, is his tackling. That's what we have been criticizing throughout his tenure here, whether it's him at corner, when he moves into the nickel slot corner, or even when he's at safety. It's like, man, at times it just didn't look like he was really comfortable doing it. And then it got to the point where he would at least get the guy down. It wasn't style points, but we were like, it was effective. I just thought today, and really you could date it back to last week versus Baltimore, you really started to see it show back up in a negative way, you know, the deficiencies in his game specifically, the tackling portion. Whether we're talking about his entry angle in terms of triangulating on the ball to minimize the ways that running back or receiver can attack him. And then also just the simple fundamentals of head to a side, wrap up, drive your feet, right? Those little details are the things that he's going to have to improve upon to, you know, stay at this level in terms of playing safety, right? Because he's very much capable of it. But that's going to be the big question for him. And it goes hand in hand. Does he want to do that? Does he have a desire to do that? Because not everybody wants to play that life. Some dudes are like, bro, I'd much rather retire, man, and stand on my Hall of Fame career as a corner than transition to a full-time safety. But we saw dudes like Charles Woodson do it. And I thought that, man, he put together 2 heck of careers, you know, whether you're talking Charles Woodson the safety or Charles Woodson the corner. I think Pat P can very much do the same thing. But that is the part that he 100% has to improve upon, is the tackling, man. Because safeties that can't tackle don't play. You just can't put you out there. Because as an offense, that's the guy we hunt. That's typically the guy that's not blocked. So if you can't tackle, you're the unblocked defender, our defense is screwed. So that's definitely some of the stuff that, like I said, for Pat P, man, that we're going to be looking to see, man. Can he specifically get better in that area, man? Elijah West, he says, I don't agree, Moats, respectful. Shout out to you, man. Hey, man, I like this, baby. He says, if it wasn't for Mason getting a lucky shot to even play because Mitch was so god-awful, this season would have been over. And that's fine, too. I do agree, right? However it transpired, at the end of the day, Mason did take over. And at the end of the day, what happened? When Mason took over, we were not in the postseason. When Mason took over, we had just lost to the Patriots and the Arizona Cardinals. We were having a totally different conversation. So the fact that Mason, this team, this offense was able to get to where we were to finish with 10 wins this season, there was a time after the Patriots and Cardinals game, if we would have said, you think we can get 10 wins, people would have bet everything that was impossible. So, like I said, man, in the moment, it sucks. We lost in the postseason. Sure, it sucks. We're pissed. We were talking big talk over here, had our chest puffed out, and we got beat on a little bit, man. So I get it. But to me, man, you still have to respect, you know, what this team was able to accomplish, what Mason was able to accomplish. And like I said, man, just how Coach T got this team to respond to him, man. But yeah, I could get the whole lucky shot thing, man. And however the opportunity comes, to each their own. But what we can say is he did take advantage of it, and that is how we got to where we are, man. Christian 15213 in the building. Shout out to you, Christian, man. Keep rocking with me, man. I'm rocking back with you, man. I don't care what nobody say. All right, let's get it. He says, I know JPJ had a good rookie season, but in this game, he was soft as heck. I keep PG-13. That's just me. You ain't got to do that. You good. He says, just standing around looking at plays. A lot of the D second was doing that, but yeah, I get what you're saying, man. Like I said, I don't want to call him soft because first off, man, that's my dude. Not soft. But in terms of the team as a whole, man, yeah, the Bills are a more physical team tonight. No way around it, man. Yeah, it is what it is. I think for JPJ, we can agree that both things can be true. He had a dope rookie season. He struggled tonight. He was out physical tonight. Out physical and soft. Specifically for JPJ, I can't say that because that's my young boy. You feel me? Like I said, I know see with yay height. I can't. I know what he's cut from. I know what his pop cut from. I can't go there with you, all right? But yeah, he got out physical this game the same way you can make a case when he played DK Metcalf to an extent. He kind of got out physical. Now, I don't think it was a solo matchup that was out physical, but I think as a whole, just the intensity defensively when the Bills ran the ball or when it was time for us to tackle, we did not look like we were as eager to do that. And that to me was a big problem. It sucks that JPJ, got banged out at the end, took the little concussion and stuff like that, helped my dog straight. But yeah, man, I think it's a learning experience because a lot of them dudes had never been in a postseason before. And as a dude that played in the postseason for 4 years, and we've had various levels of success playing in the AFC Championship game, tell you, man, it's a different speed, it's a different intensity, it's a different set of emotions. It just gets ratcheted up so much. And for people that have never experienced it, man, yeah, you don't know how dudes are going to respond in it. You don't know how that dude who's usually as hard as chills, he's spiking all of a sudden. You got this cat that's usually, even kills. I'm ready. It's like, bro, breathe. I think at times, man, we kind of experience that a little bit, man. But you live and you learn. And that's the beautiful part, man, because we are still a young team. We do still have a lot of these dudes coming back. And that playoff experience in this matchup is going to help them out in a major way this offseason, man. Elijah West, he says, and Moats, your wave spinning, LOL, drop the routine. Hey, nah, salute you, man. What they saying coming to America? This ain't nothing but just fruits and just nuts and berries, man. That's it, baby. All right. But nah, man, I just hit it with a little herbal African oil, a little brush game. One time before you go to sleep, put the do-rag on, then hit it in the morning, and we on our way, all right? Go with the grain, though. Always with the grain. Let's get it, man. Salute you, though. It's Phantom. Says, was it me or was Highsmith held nonstop? I mean, y'all know how that happens every play. Trust me, man, we can make that case. And yeah, I would agree, man. He did get held a lot. The only problem is, if we're going to play that letter by the log thing, they could do it on the other side as well. And that's the only problem with it. I'm not a fan of it. I do feel like Highsmith should have gotten a call or two. But at the same time, that's his fight each and every week. That's TJ Watt's fight. That's Micah Parsons' fight. That's Myles Garrett's fight. All us pass rushers talk about being held because, yes, these offensive linemen do hold us every single play. They take off early on the offensive line. Every single play. But the problem is we are going to complain about it when it benefits our pass rushers, but we would be absolutely livid if they called holding on Broderick and Dan Moore as frequently as we might want it to be called on Highsmith or TJ Watt. That's the only thing that I have with it. And that's why whenever you hear me specifically as a former player, I don't do a ton of complaining about the officiating because I do get it. It goes both ways. So if we're going to want them to do that for us, then it would have to go that way for them. And I don't think we want to watch that. I don't think nobody want to watch that personally because it would literally be a flag every play, man. But I do agree, man. He was being held, and that's the game. That's the whole fight. You talk about holding on the perimeter. Look at some of them interior D linemen, man. Right? Across the board, it happens. But that's the part that, like I said, man, that's how they call it, man. Unless it's god awful, and even with some of the god awful ones, you still see they'd be like, hey, let it play. You're like, bro, he literally just yoked my man down, or he whipped him around, did the whole let me spin you. It's like, bro, that's a hole. But that's how officiating has been. This ain't just this year. This is what they want, man. They don't want them quarterbacks that can kill it every play. So they let them offensive linemen get away with a lot more to minimize the pass rush, man. It just, like I said, sucked today because we were on the short end of that, man. But that's it. It's one of them things, man. It's one of them things. And yeah, man, do I think that it's right? I'm not saying that it's right. Nah. But what I am saying is this. You can take yourself out the game by becoming overly enamored with a call that they have clearly shown league-wide they are not calling. So do you want to waste time complaining about something that is not going to get changed? Or do you want to figure out another alternative to be successful? I'm just saying from those experiences, man, you better figure out another way to be successful. Because if you keep hollering about holding calls, they've been hollering about holding calls since Reggie White was playing, man. They've been hollering about holding calls since Joe Green was playing. Debo, right? Everybody hollers about that. They do not care. They have not changed it. They still haven't stopped offensive linemen for taking off early either, right? Ball in the snap, you see the offensive lineman take kicks that back. You're like, bro, what is this? That's the NFL right now, man. They want offenses to be able to score and have the most advantages as possible. This is all a part of it. The same way we look at them receivers and we're like, man, if you breathe on them, it's a pass interference, right? They was trying their hardest to figure out, can we call pass interference on the throw from Josh Allen, right? Because they want offense to be successful. So the same when we talk about some of this holding stuff, it's the same concept, man. When our tackles are holding them and vice versa, it's like, yo, they want your offense to score points because that's what sells tickets, man. So, I don't agree with it. I'm not a big offensive dude over here. I love rocking with the defense, but that's the reality of it right now, man. Let's Go UW says, our defense is old, soft, injured, and expensive. I mean, that's one way to, if that's how you would like to describe it. I don't all the way agree with you on it. I think that they were very productive. I think they handled adversity extremely well. I think we are talking about the amount of people that they had to use from a depth standpoint to even have them in this position. I think that truly attested not just the mental fortitude that they have, but also the physical sustainability that they have also, because they went through multiple guys they got hurt, right? And not just regular injury. We're not talking about sprained ankle. We're talking about torn Achilles, torn ACL, the big boy stuff, surgical. So like I said, man, if the superlatives that you would like to use are those, I get it. Like I said, I just personally don't agree with it, but we can agree to disagree. Kel Turner, shout out to Kel Turner. Innovation is key in today's game. We are history. Well, innovation is not necessarily key. Quarterback play is key. We can dress it up how we want to dress it up, and that's all well and good. But it really boils down to you either have one of them 5 unicorns that walk this earth that we say are elite quarterbacks, or you got the field. And if you got the field, this is kind of the closest thing that you're going to find to making them type of runs without the unicorn at quarterback, man. We can say whatever we want. We kind of proved that theory even with the whole Matt Canada versus Sullivan, Faulkner, Kenny Pickett, Mason. Is like, bro, it's the same exact playbook. It's just a different person calling different plays right at different times. But the big difference is not who's calling these plays. It's not, oh, this scheme is so exotic or anything like that. No, the difference was we was just executing better. When that happens, that's when it works. But you're more prone to execute in these type of games when you got the unicorn. That's the difference, man. That has not changed. We've just always had Ben, who's a unicorn. Right now, we're living the non-unicorn life, and we don't like it as much. So that's why we all are reacting the way that we're reacting. But that's the biggest difference right now, man. Christian 15213. He says, I don't mean the coverage. Coverage is solid. Okay. I mean the other plays where ball carriers has the ball and everyone's standing around. Hit stick them. No, I'm with you on that. And that's what I'm saying too with I said as a whole, our defense, I felt like we lacked intensity, man. Yeah, we're not getting those, man, when the dude gets hit, man, the other gunshots, pow, 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 where everybody's running to that ball. Yeah, because that's what it's supposed to be like. How many times do we see our guys fall down? Or excuse me, the Bills on offense, they would get tackled. We didn't see a lot of dudes running and jumping over the pile or 3-4 dudes hitting them at the same time. It was just kind of like I said, it was weird energy. I don't know if it was too cold or the travel, whatever it was, but it was just like, yo, we didn't play with that same, just like back against the wall. All I can do is kill you. Otherwise, I don't have a chance to see tomorrow. We didn't play with that type of urgency today. Defensively, I didn't feel like it, man. And when you look at just, how some of those plays ended, when it was those one-on-ones or those ones where it's like, yo, bring this dude down, that's something that I'm sure this team's going to look back on and be a little bit upset about, man, because they did let one get away. Elijah West says, no call on JPJ. The hit in the back But then they get 15-yard penalty on the Dan Moore shove. There was no consistency. Yeah, the Dan Moore shove I thought was a weak call. I would agree with you on that. In terms of the JPJ hit, he was standing around the pile. That was my whole issue. It's like, bro, you're at the point of attack with an active ball carrier and you're standing. Bro, what you thought was going to happen? You know I love Peasy Jr. That's my dude. But it's like, bro, that's part of what Christian 15213 is talking about. It's like, man, dude's just kind of standing around. It's like, all right, you act like you stand around you want to. They over there trying to get every single inch that they can. If they got to hit you, they will hit you. They don't care. And I thought that was going to be our energy as well towards them. But that was the part, like I said, we just didn't really match that part of it, man. And I don't know why, because recently we have been. Recently, we were the ones doing all that little stuff. We were the ones getting all them extra hits off. But today, that wasn't it. Heck, even watching how, think about that Seahawks game, man, finishing some of those runs, right? Mosh pit style and Najee getting pushed through. It's like, bro, they was the ones doing the mosh pit pushing. Where was ours at? That's the frustration with it, man. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Christian 15213 says, Cam has to retire. God, we miss you. Into it. That was the jam. God level. Besides Keanu, reset. Now, I salute you as well, man. And trust me, man, that was a blast playing out there, man, with my dudes, Cam, to it. We had the whole Debo seat. Man, it was a vibe, man. Trust me. It was definitely a vibe, but it was a different dynamic, man. This group right here, way more talented. I feel like, man, they got dudes that can legit bona fide just cook one-on-ones over and over and over. That's what you want, but at the same time, we are older. And with Cam, I do feel like today it's one of the ones where you're like, all right, what's the next step, man? You know, that's my brother. I love Cam, and I would love for him to come back. But at the same time, you really got to assess production, availability, and compensation when you're looking at a guy like Keanu Benton, right? I mean, I'm sure even Larry Ogunjobi, to an extent, man, they're going to look at him and compare contrast, right? New contract, production, where were we at? Those are all the things that kind of come, you know, to play when the season ends like how it ends, man. So that's what we're going to find out, man. But, yeah, it definitely sucks for my dude, though, man. Like I said, I wanted him to go on a better run, man. I wanted him to really, you know, get a chance to chase one of them rings this season, man. But it just a bad ending for my dude, man. Bad ending. But we shall see what can, man. I think, like I said, if it's me personally, man, I can see it working out a couple of ways. I can see him retiring. I can see him coming back on a 1 year. I don't love the concept, but I think if he wanted to play multiple years somewhere, he could do that too. If he did the whole Calais Campbell route where he, you know, does a Jacksonville, or how he ended up in Baltimore for the last couple of seasons, like I can see that for Cam because his game is fundamentally sound. He could do that. I just don't know what his temperature is going to be, man, in terms of, number one, what the team is talking about from a compensation standpoint, him coming back. Number two, his overall desire, health. Remember, he did have to have surgery at one point. You know, so like I said, it's a lot of that that's going to be on the table for him, man. Stephen Griffith. Shout out to Stephen as well, man. He says, Josh Allen is a crybaby, asking for a flag for RTP. Oh, for roughing the passer? Man, don't all quarterbacks ask for it? You know how that go. Like you say, it just sucks that for us, unfortunately, we don't have the quarterback that gets those calls right now. You want to get to that level, and hopefully we will, but we know right now they don't look at Mason, Kenny, or Mitch as dudes that deserve a ton of flags, that if it's borderline, they're going to give the flag to. Whereas Josh, Patrick Mahomes, and company, those are the guys that get them type of calls, man. But they've also earned them. So, like I said, man, we can sit here and make it about that if we want to. That was not the reason why we lost this game, man. Our tackling, them being more physical in the run game, that was a big reason why. And then the miscommunication on that first touchdown, man. We just, that back end, the DB and the safety, just off. And that's how you get the wide open pass, man, the tight end, right? Stuff like that. That to me was more, you know, at play than the whole crybaby or referee narrative. Like I said, it just sucks because we lost. When you lose, yeah, we're going to start trying to find some comfort and justify why we weren't successful. But those were not the big reasons to me. I think what I kind of listed off was more so at play than, you know, Josh crying for a roughing the passer penalty, man. Michael Brooks, shout out to Michael. He says, Peasy was making that tackle and caught H to H cheap, or got caught helmet to helmet cheap. I mean, we can say it how we want to. Like I said, it sucks that my dog got hurt, but at the end of the day, they are running to get as much yards as they can, and their offensive linemen, no different than when we watch our offensive linemen, they're going to be running down there, so you're either going to get this dude down or you're going to get out the way. It is what it is. Like I said, it sucks that he got hurt, man. You know that. And as soon as he got hit, I'm like, dang, grab that head. I'm like, I know it. But that's one of the ones, man. That's one of the ones, man. All right, and then let's see, man. Final super that just pulled up on me as well. Elijah West. He says on the 3-yard line, one run, then go to pass. Like what? I'm with you, man. You're talking about the pick, right? It sucked. Yeah, Mason missed, and we're talking minute details. Back hip, front hip. That's the difference. He puts on the back hip. Kyrie Elam is able to come out that break, get his head around, make the interception. He puts on the front hip. It's a touchdown front pylon. Game in inches. That's the National Football League, and that's the postseason. And unfortunately, like I said, we're just on the wrong end of it, man. But you live and you learn from this experience, man, and I think we will grow from it. But also now, the way that we decide how we're going to construct and reconstruct our roster and coaching staff, those are also going to be big factors in next year's success, man. Whether we're talking about coaching changes at the top, the coordinator spots, or even if we're talking about some of this personnel, a lot of that is, like I said, going to have a big impact on how much success we're going to have going into the next season, man. So that's also why you hear me at times saying, man, we can't be prisoners of the moment and make right now decisions that are going to cost us in a major way next year just because of how we feeling today. And that's the part where you like, man, you just got to kind of understand, like, it hurts right now, it sucks right now, but let's take some time with this thing. And then, like I said, we're going to get some clarification and make hopefully the best moves that will get us back into that Super Bowl, man. Because, yeah, it's been a minute. We need some postseason wins. And that's still, regardless of the way that we finished the regular season, that part still leaves us with a bitter taste in our mouth. Another year without a postseason win. It sucks. We know we weren't favored. We know everything that took place, but it's like, that's the part that definitely sucks, man. So I definitely get it, man. I definitely get it. Stephen Griffin also says, yeah, we really lost because broken tackles in the pick. Yeah, you throw a pick in the end zone and then they come back and score a touchdown. That's a 14-point swing, is it not? We, instead of scoring a touchdown, tying it up, we end up allowing them to get a pick and then come up and score and then go up 2 scores. Change the whole dynamic of that first half, how we felt about it. Talk about broken tackles. Josh Allen's touchdown run, Khalil Shakir's touchdown catch, predominantly off of missed tackles, man. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. We can justify it or try to justify how we want to, but at the end of the day, those were missed tackles, man. Nothing else. Missed tackles. They out-physicaled us, and that's the unfortunate part with this thing, and they didn't make the turnover. But it isn't a lot of other that really had the weighing out, or didn't have the the amount of weight on the outcome as those things. I feel like that was the primary stuff that ultimately led to the results that we had out here, man. But yeah, you can't turn the ball over, man. I told, and shout out to Michael Bellick as well. He brought up the Pickens fumble. He says Pickens fumble, bad call, interception. Yeah. Those 2 things killed us. And think about it. We almost had a chance for 3 disastrous plays back to back, right? We had the Pickens fumble. They recovered it. We had the pick in the end zone. And then we also, I thought we got lucky with the move fumble. Because to me, I'm like, fumbles clearly in bounds. Clearly their LB recovered that in bounds. Like, bro, it's about to be 21 zip. Like that. I thought we got really lucky with that call personally, man. But that's also why I'm like, yo, I don't trip on the referee situation because it goes both ways. It goes both ways, man. But, yeah, when you throw in that type of start versus a team that was also putting it together offensively, they were scoring touchdowns also. When that's the dynamic, man, yeah, it's going to have us in a weird situation like that, baby. All right, and then let's see, we had That's Biad. He says, the right QB would do more for the playoff success of this team than a new head coach. I think Coach T and Mason could take a step forward next year. Is $18 million enough to bring both back? That's a heck of a question. I do agree with you though. I think the right QB is more important for the team to be successful and to keep going forward. Now, is that right QB Mason Rudolph? Is that right QB Kenny Pickett? Or is it somebody outside the building? I think that's what we all trying to figure out right now. I think Mason, though, has definitely included himself in the conversation. 18 mil a year to bring them both back, I don't know just yet, because honestly, I gotta sit back and kind of think on that thing, man. But I do think Mason has definitely put himself in a position to come back. And if Coach T wants to come back, I think that he should come back, man. I know they were talking about extensions and stuff like that. I don't know, man, how he feels about it. And honestly, I don't know how long of an extension I would do either, just in the simple vein of we do want postseason success. So you don't want to send a mixed message that, yo, we are okay with just the regular season success. And even though this is the longest playoff drought that we've sustained, in terms of lack of wins, we're still okay with that. We'll reward you with extension after extension. I don't think that should be the messaging either. But there is a fine line of appreciating what Coach Tomlin has done, regular season and postseason, and at the same time still being very critical of where he has struggled at since obviously 2016, when that was the last time we won a playoff game. So I think both things can be true, but that's one of the things where, like I said, man, Mr. Rooney and company, they're gonna have to make some tough decisions, man, and figure that whole dynamic out. But like I said, man, it's definitely gonna be a good little situation that we got, man, because we do have options at least, and we have seen, at least with where we currently are, it's a 10-win, get into a postseason dynamic. Now, how do we advance further than this? That's the fine tuning. So, nip tuck, we don't want a whole overhaul. Whole overhaul, not the best. Nip tuck, we trying to go from where we are in this wild card to how do we make them runs, man? Because let's be real, we watched the same game today. Did anybody feel like we couldn't beat the Buffalo Bills today? Nah, no one felt like that. Did anybody feel like the Buffalo Bills were just the god team out there that just we couldn't be on the same field as them? No. So what that's letting you know is this. Throughout all of the anxiety and all these, crazy emotional feelings that we might be having about how bad we are not far off. Clearly not. But we understand at certain pieces or certain places we do got to be better at, man. So, like I said, that's going to be the interesting part, man, going forward. But that will do it for tonight's Space Talk, man. I hope y'all enjoyed it, man. I definitely enjoyed the convo with y'all. Shout out to each and every one of y'all that was here tonight, man. All the super chats from the heart definitely means a lot. Y'all hit that like button one more time, and don't forget to subscribe if you have not done so just yet. We'll be back in the saddle at 4 o'clock tomorrow. Me and the homie Deke doing the podcast. All right, so tell a friend to tell a friend. We'll have a full reaction, stuff like that, man. Get his perspective as well. So definitely be a lot more fun. And I get a chance to, digest this thing, watch some more tape and stuff like that as well, man. But like I said, definitely appreciate y'all. Oh, and I did just see you at the last second, Christian. Before I close out, man, shout out to that last super chat, man. Make sure I read you off real quick. It says, before you go, Moats, Mason needs to be QB1. No BS, and let him do it with a real OC. His entire career has been plagued without this. No, you're right, man. You think about Mason's entire tenure here in Pittsburgh. It has been a rocky road without a ton of organizational support for him or even fan base support for him. So it would be interesting to give him a fair shot at QB1 with, a coordinator that he gets a full offseason with, whether that's Mike Sullivan and Eddie Faulkner or if that's somebody from outside the building. I do think he's put himself in a legitimate position to be strongly considered for that, man. So yeah, we on the same page with that, Christian. Absolutely on the same page. Now, the number in terms of how much it's going to cost to give him that opportunity, that's the interesting part, because like I said, he's unrestricted right now. And if I'm Mason Rudolph, I feel like you owe yourself an opportunity to go see what the numbers are talking about outside, because they did let you go outside last year when it was convenient for the Steelers. So now that it's, convenient for you, don't just miss out on an opportunity to go see what's really available for you to change your life. That's the part where I'm like, he put himself in a great position, man. So shout out to Mason on that one, man. But like I said, shout out to each and every one of y'all tonight, man. Like I said, definitely sucked, man, that we didn't get the job done. But it's one of those things, man, where you live and you learn. All right. Dope season though as a whole, man. I will definitely sign off with that, man. 10+ wins, postseason appearance. Shout out to Coach T. Shout out to them dudes, man. So with that being the case, man, appreciate the heck out of y'all. Stay safe. And until next time, baby, peace.